So the Federal Reserve interest rate numbers just came out. We went from 4.5 to 4.25%, so that is a decrease of 0.25%, aka 25 basis points, and the price basically did exactly as I had expected. We went for XRP from $3.20 all the way towards about $2.95 in the days leading up to the event. On the day itself, we saw some volatility. You could argue that it was not as crazy as expected. I would have to admit, I did expect even more of a move. The price only went roughly down, like up and down 3%. So yes, it was volatile, but not as crazy as it could have been. But the point is quite clear. What I stated a few days ago is sell off a little bit of your crypto to buy it back on the dip around the FOMC in case people buy the rumors, sell the news, which did happen to some extent. Again, this was not a massive crash. Theoretically speaking, it's still possible that that follows the event now over the next couple of hours or next couple of days. But let me remind you that over the next couple of weeks, a few massive things are happening. On the one hand, we've got more ETFs. Dogecoin coming up this week, XRP coming up this week. For those coins, that on its own is pretty big. But together with that, we've just recently seen a couple new announcements of these digital asset treasury companies, but let me tell you that this week, most likely, we will hear of 1, 2, 3, maybe more. And if we take a look at my bots over the past couple of hours, I just want to quickly make note of it here. I've seen a ridiculous amount of profit over the past 3 hours or so. Why? Well, for the most part, not because the price went up like crazy, but because it went down and then up like crazy. So if you look at the bottom here, this dark shows the amount of transactions it has placed. The reason it is up so much, and by the way, the bot links you can always find in the first link in the description down below, is because I told y'all they make money on volatility. And even though you may not look at this and think it was very volatile, I probably made a couple tens of thousands of dollars from just cashed out profits purely based on this like 2 hours alone. And by the way, our competition is finished. We gave away $5,000 to the people right here. I'm not sure. I think you should just receive it in your account within a few days from now. So congratulations to all of y'all for entering the competition. As I was trying to say though, multiple different digital asset treasury companies, let's call it, are going to announce multiple raises in the near future here. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I am buying into this weakness. If the market decides to go for another massive slash here, we know that in the near future, Powell will most likely cut the rates again. And this, for the most part, has always been a very bullish event. Now, I've taken a look at the numbers, and sometimes actually after a rate cut, after a long pause, the markets did move down twice by some very heavy percentages as well. And together with the fact that the dollar right now is falling, it's making these coins look even better, specifically because the dollar fell to lows we've not seen in, I believe, 2 years, maybe even 3, I think 2 or 3 years. But I'll counter all that by stating again, because of all these digital asset treasury companies and the fact that this crypto market usually is quite the same. 3 years of up, 1 year of down. This up is probably going to end along the lines of January. We thought between August of 2025 and January of 2026, we're going to see the top. I right now have to myself the obligation to buy into any weakness. Sure, on the short term, you may hate yourself. Sure, on the short term, you may look at your positions and think, damn, if only, if only, if only. But like I said just a few days ago, sometimes it's nice to get some liquidity in case you get these type of events, where in this case we had a breakthrough. Some people got faked out right here, thought the market was going to move up, and then it smashes you right in the face, going down a few percent. This is, again, opportunities that you sometimes get to make a juicy amount of profit on a very, very short term. However, a lot of y'all, like me more so, are either more holding or are more interested in these like passive or opportunities or more passive opportunities. Like I just stated, this already generated me a massive amount of profit over the past couple of hours purely from doing nothing. All right. It's just because the market all of a sudden had a pretty massive move here. And that's all okay as well. Even if you're not doing anything and you're wondering what's going to happen next, I still think what I just said is going to happen. Multiple different ETF announcements coming up very soon. Lawsuits, all the ones we've seen. For example, the one against Binance from the Department of Justice, the complaints, everything, most likely going to be dropped. More big companies joining the game, either making stable coins or like we've seen with all Trump's affiliated things. I mean, freaking Eric Trump just said crypto is a perfect hedge to real estate. He also, just a few days ago, said Bitcoin is the greatest asset of our time. The Trump family is locked in on these coins, and they're not perfect on the exact timing of it, like we saw with Eric Trump's previous ETH purchase. But pretty quickly afterwards, the markets did turn around again, making him look like a godly trader. And 𝗕𝗪𝗧 explains here how this cycle has been full of obviously winning trades. I'm telling you again, if you've been following my videos religiously over the past couple of weeks, you'd be doing extremely well. Why? We called pump fund, hyperliquid, Dogecoin, XRP, and Solana, XRP being the least of our, I guess, profitable coins right here, plus BNB. All these coins, and actually a Chainlink update as well. AVEX, again, not too much profit there, but I did name it as one of the coins as well. Every single one of these coins did extremely well throughout the last little period here since we talked about them. Why? Even though they're not plus 100% in a day type of coins. All of these did well because of very solid bases. Every single one of them had a very logical reason to go up, just like Ethereum. And I've been screaming it, shouting it. But the problem is, most people, they look for the Solana from 250 to 1,000. They don't really care for the Solana 180 to 240, right? People care about different things. Same for XRP. They do not care about the $2.90 to $3.60. They care about the $4 to $15. And that's, again, where a lot of people are missing out on ridiculous amounts of gains, is that they put the barrier too high, or they put their, let's call it success factor, as a strange multiple, a strange number. I personally think whenever you can find an opportunity, you should either seize it or be happy with them. For example, now XRP dipping back below $3 to $2.97 or something like that. That is a massive opportunity. And if you take it often enough or take it with enough size because you're quite confident, you can make this small move, a 3% move, you can make you retire your entire freaking village. There's people doing that. Remember that just because you are not able to take advantage of small moves and you want the price to do a 15x, a 20x, a 1000x, doesn't mean others are not. And that's the key here. Understanding that many a time here, it's really obvious what's going to happen next. Just like hyperliquid again. Where is the major resistance? Every single major hyperliquid whale has been selling off in 55, 56. Does that mean we can't go and burst right through? No. Most likely, hyperliquid will see way crazier prices throughout the next couple of weeks. But again, very often it can be wise to sell into strength and try to buy back cheaper. Do you always have to do that? No. But then again, you should not get, I guess, negative or demotivated if the price indeed stalls at those levels for a while. Or XRP, we made an all-time high. Ethereum made an all-time high. To me, all that signals is, see, there's a lot of people out there who are bidding these coins, especially because these institutions are backing it up. Solana went to 232. What did I say yesterday? 232 is a free, in my opinion, free range to pick up Solana without any hassle. What did we do? We bought another 50 Solana here. At least we put 50 Solana into the bot here. I guess we have our normal purchases, but that's besides the point. Why? I showed it to you live, right? Yesterday, I put some more Solana into the bot. Why? Because it's good prices. Does that mean the price will instantly go up? No, right? But again, sometimes when you get a good deal, you just grab it. Could I have grabbed it with more? Sure, I could have. I could have put more Solana in even more. Doesn't always have to be maxed out. It's just about taking advantage of good opportunities, and I'll keep doing that every single day. Guys, if you also want to trade with the bots, links are down below. You may think, Dusty, please stop talking about these things. I will not, because they're the best thing I've ever found. And right now, let's say the market, it's not loading for a second, but let's say the market does, because it just now got rejected again, want to move down for a little bit. Again, we are going to be buying into that strength. I am not saying that we're in the clear just quite yet, because not every single time has the FOMC shown the results straight away. Sometimes it takes a bit of time. If you want a further analysis, check back at the stream that we made a few hours ago. You can take a look at what my analyst said, and we'll be back tomorrow with a stream talking about the, I guess, repercussions of the FOMC. Still, on the short term, the trend for XRP is downwards. And actually, for many a coin, that's the case. But like I said before, from almost any angle, it makes sense to get to buying into the strength, or sorry, into the weakness, rather than selling into the weakness. And the main reason is there's institutions that have bought at these prices that are basically on the cusp of buying billions of dollars more, partially on the open market. And we can sell on their buy numbers, but that's only a temporary thing. For the most part, all I'm looking at is buy, buy, buy. And when I said this on TikTok, everybody said, exit liquidity master. And there was a lot of people who were very, very negative. I would say if you're uneasy right now, get some testosterone back in your body, because this is a buyer's market. I'm going to call this one. This is a buyer's market. Everything is set for the craziest of runs ever. Everything is set for it. Even the macro, it's set for the craziest of runs. I'm not selling into this one. And again, maybe tomorrow we're going to wake up with another dump on top of our heads. Again, Even if you do not dare to buy at the $3, let's call it $2.97 mark right here, you want it lower, all completely fine. But relatively, like I said before, if you were selling into the strength from prior, you already had yourself a good discount. Maybe you can get yourself an even steeper discount. But if you at least sold some off, that is pretty nice, because right now prices are still quite cheap. Then again, this is not the perfect price anymore because we're above $3 in XRP, and I refuse to stack more now. As you can see, the last time I purchased XRP was in this candle right here, the $2.70 candle or something like that. And the last time we sold was indeed into the, I'm going to say, $3.10 candle. But don't sleep on easy opportunities. All the news is set in stone. It just makes too much sense. We can make it more difficult than it is, but sometimes it doesn't have to be. So I'm crazy bullish right now, regardless of what anybody else is saying. Then again, baseline. There's a lot of people saying short-term, little more dump, even though we did not really see it today, before just up for, let's say, a whole quarter. And I do want to, because I do feel almost obligated to show you this, I do want to quickly put the numbers in. Fed cutting rates when the markets are within 1% of the all-time high produce an average return of 15% over the next 12 months with a 100% hit rate. So again, our longer term, in my opinion, is pretty much set. But there's still a chance of a little negative return on the short term, like the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks or so. I will quickly point that out. Now, you may say they want to wreck retail with statements like this. I think you can look at all the numbers for yourself. SPX returns over the past 55 years when the FOMC cut interest rates for the first time after not changing rates for more than 6 months. Early data is approximated. It does come out to be a pretty bullish result. There's a few numbers or few times where the market went down like crazy over the next year or so, but it does beg a question of how bad were the markets already doing. I'm seeing a 2007 and a 2001, so some people disqualified that data as well. Those are not topping years, those were bottoming years, so to speak. I do wonder what this data looks like indeed. I don't feel like doing it right now, but I do wonder what the data looks like if you only take the most bullish of years, and so the all-time high dates. Perhaps that's again what we just read out, that it was just extremely bullish. I'm counting on it. And again, if it doesn't happen, at least we'll all be at the bottom in the gutter together. And you know what the nice thing is? Hey, if push really comes to shove, I can probably find another chair or so we can both sit next to the dumpster together to pick out some trash.